I like my crown roll light on the ice. Couple bad women treating me right. Diamonds dancing, get the gleam in the light. Feel my nigga, you my nigga for life. Don't forget it, cause we niggas for life. And if it's getting litty, you can hit me whether wrong or you right. I'm coming through, I bust a pole in the pipe. Niggas for life. What up, dog? True Crew? What it do, my baby? What's up with the squad, man? CharlieGramz 999 coming through one more time. I'm on my grind, you heard me? Hey, hit that like and subscribe for these vibes, bro. Straight up. Today, right now, at the moment, check me out, bro. Listen. This is Swamp Stories. I done watched a few of these, you know what I'm saying, on my leisure. But today, I feel like reacting to this with y'all, you know what I'm saying? Because why not? You know what I'm saying? This Swamp Stories is titled Mac Dre versus Everyone. What really happened? And I always want to know what really happened. Because I was asleep on this whole scene when it was going down. I didn't know what the hell was going on in the bay. You hear me? Like, it just wasn't on my radar. But I've been tuned in for the past couple years. And this shit crazy, bro. So, let's go and check out this video, y'all.
Welcome back to another episode of Swamp Story. This time we finish off the Mac Dre series. But before we get into it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Also, thank you guys so much for 100,000 subscribers. I honestly never thought that the channel would make it this far. I literally started this out of pure boredom and interest in the California underground. I appreciate the support and we will keep growing and making good content. So let's get into it. In the last video, I briefly talked about the life and
he started this shit because he was bored and he was interested in the underground scene in Cali. You never know where your interest can take you. That's dope. Let's go.
Upbringing of Mac Dre, but I don't think I did his life any justice. So let's start back from the beginning. Andre Lewis Hicks was born in Oakland in 1970 to a woman named Wanda Salvato. But early in his childhood, they moved about 30 minutes north to the city of Vallejo. He spent his childhood years in the country club CREST neighborhood in North Vallejo. And for those who aren't familiar, I'd classify this area as a semi-hood. Visually speaking, this area looks like any middle-class suburb. And on top of this, if you...
Cali will trick you like that, though, because they be having some beautiful ass neighborhoods. The signs are not there. When you in the hood in damn near any other city, bro, there's signs. This place is dangerous. Cali should be beautiful. You know what I'm saying? The neighborhoods be clean. I'm like, yo, who would have ever known a nigga just got smoked right there where you standing last night? That shit wild, bro. You know what I'm saying? That is some trickery at its finest right there. Nigga get a little comfortable out there.
If you look at the crime statistics, it's really not all that bad of an area. But with that being said, the combination of poverty and lack of resources will add a certain level of street activity to any neighborhood. So that's the kind of guys that Mac Dre grew up around. But he wasn't necessarily interested in that path. Mac Dre always had two things, music and you know what. He was always known to have a cold mouthpiece, and that's where the nickname Mac Dre came from. Well, he officially began rapping at 14 years old, and then he began performing in front of his classmates at Hogan High School. But while he was at Hogan High School, there was another student there that was big into music as well. This student was a drummer in the band and was a star baseball player. The name, Earl Stevens. And if you're from California, you should automatically know that name. Well, let's head to 1986, because that's when Earl Stevens would head to college at Grambling State University in Louisiana. That's where he would play in the marching band along with his cousin named Brant Jones. Well, while they're away in Louisiana, things back home are changing. Mac Dre drops a song called Too Hard for the Radio and has Vallejo on notice. And his song was truly too hard for the radio. Well, after a year in Louisiana, Earl Stevens and Brant Jones would return to Vallejo to pursue two things. The first is money, and the second is music. Earl Stevens would go by the rap name E40, and Brant would go by the name of Be Legit. Together, the two would sell tapes out of their trunk, and yes, that's all they sold, of course. But here's what's interesting. While E40 is selling his music and creating his own buzz, so is Mac Dre.
Hold on, bro. I didn't appreciate that shot. That's all they sold, of course. You don't know what the hell they was selling. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be speaking as a matter of fact on these shits, bro. You know, how you know? Yeah, let's get it.
And although they were both becoming famous in their city, they never thought about working together. And that's because Mac Dre and E40 were not cool. But it wasn't necessarily a personal issue. Let me explain. E40 is from a South Vallejo neighborhood called the Hillside, and Mac Dre is from a North Vallejo neighborhood called the Crest Side. And during the 1980s, these two neighborhoods did not get along, to say the least. Some would even describe Vallejo as having two sides at that point. Vallejo was pretty much divided by Tennessee Street. So pretty much, if you were from North Vallejo, you couldn't go below that line. Yes, it was that serious. And not only was this going on in the streets, but the politics would spill over into the music as well. E40 would drop a hit song called Mr. Flamboyant, and Mac Dre would have some interesting lyrics in response. Mr. Flamboyant is a song I'll never sing. I'm not with the clique, I'm straight with the sick. And any South sucker I'm ready to get with. But despite these harsh lyrics, E40 claims that he and Mac Dre never had any problems.
It wasn't a relationship. We didn't have any problems with each other. It was never nothing. We didn't have nothing to be mad at each other. You know what I'm saying?
But this song here may contradict what he said. So let me give it context. It's 1993 and Mac Dre was just sentenced to 6 years after a bogus conspiracy charge. I actually talked about this whole situation in the previous episode, so if you haven't seen that, go check it out first. But anyways, E40 would have something very interesting to say about this. He would say, I said, wait a minute baby, you mistaking me for Andrea. I'm not a fail-tale rat-head wannabe. I wouldn't rob a bank for publicity. I get it honestly, legally, so have no fear. That was a cold bar, but you wouldn't say that about someone that you never had a problem with. I'm just saying. But in all reality, things were handled much better than they could have, and Mac Dre and E40 never had any run-ins. The mutual respect ran deep enough for them to allow each other to thrive in their own way. There was no jealousy or envy, because that's not what real bosses do. Okay, you may be wondering why E40 is relevant to this episode, but trust me, it's important, and it will make sense later in the video. But let's get back to the main topic. Mac Dre. Mac Dre's style and influence would take over the West Coast in the late 90s to early 2000s. From Seattle to San Diego and Reno to Arizona, the hyphy movement was spreading fast. There was one city nowhere near the West Coast that stood out more than any other. For whatever reason, Kansas City loved Mac Dre. And I'm not exaggerating, they seriously loved Mac Dre. So word of mouth would spread around that Mac Dre had a fan base in Kansas City. So for a couple of years, Mac Dre along with San Francisco rapper Messy Marv would connect with some Kansas City rappers. One of those rappers goes by the name of Fat Tone. And this guy, well, his reputation speaks for itself. You better believe anything that he says in his music. And trust me, Kansas City knows what I'm talking about. Well, fast forward a little bit, and Mac Dre, Messy Marv, and Fat Tone all end up doing songs together, and everything is good. He had gotten so familiar with Kansas City that they would book him to perform on Halloween night 2004, October 31st, 2004. Mac Dre heads out to Kansas City and is booked for 2 events. The first one is a show, and it goes better than planned. Full attendance, and he has the crowd going crazy. Then he heads to the second booking, which is a club walkthrough. He shows up and does what he has to do, but an argument breaks out between Mac Dre and the promoter. The promoter wants Mac Dre to stay longer, but Mac Dre wants to leave and go back to the hotel. It's already 3 in the morning, and Mac Dre definitely has some arrangements to handle.
Junky ass promoters, man. That shit's sick.
He decides to get in the van to be taken back to the hotel. So they're cruising down the freeway, and that's when a black Infiniti pulls right beside them, and bang! The news breaks out in the morning, and everyone is in shock. There is no way that this happened to Mac Dre. It can't be true. But after the shock would die down, it was followed by one big question. Who is responsible? The whole West Coast is eager to know who did this to our favorite rapper. And for whatever reason, one name began circulating all over the Bay. Fat Tone. It had to be Fat Tone. That is the only thing that would make sense. But not only would Fat Tone be blamed, the entire Kansas City became enemy #1 in the Bay Area.
I heard that shit. They said that nigga Fat Tone, they said that was capped up. You know what I'm saying? I've been listening to these stories a little bit lately. They say that's cap. Fat Tone ain't really do this shit. But let's see, you know what I'm saying? Let's dive in.
One of their famous rappers named Tech9 will talk about it in their DJ Vlad interview.
And for a minute there, I couldn't go to the Bay, you know what I'm saying, for some months.
So because of all the rumors about Fat Tone, Kansas City police would go ahead and investigate him. They would find zero evidence or suspicion that Fat Tone was involved in any way. Fat Tone would even come out and say that him and Mac Dre were actually friends and that there was no issue between them at all. Regardless, the Bay Area was not buying it. But despite the rumors, Fat Tone would travel to Las Vegas all the time. Vegas became his second home because he had a ton of cash and he loved to gamble. That takes us to May 23rd, 2005. Fat Tone heads to Las Vegas to gamble and do who knows what. And despite the Bay Area's feelings about him, he does have one Bay Area connection left. A man by the name of Mac Minister. Mac Minister, whose real name is Andre Dow, is known to connect Fat Tone with many big rappers. They also are known to do business together as well. So it's 2 a.m. and Fat Tone is at the casino when he gets a call from a 415 number. He picks it up and it's Mac Minister. He tells Fat Tone to meet him in an empty garage about 5 minutes away from the casino. The odd request has Fat Tone a little bit skeptical, so he goes ahead and calls his mom. He tells her that he has a weird feeling about this and that he's probably just gonna fly back home to Kansas City. Well, after the call, he decides to meet up with Mac Minister anyways. Fat Tone brings his friend Jermaine Akins, also known as Cowboy, with him. So they drive to the empty parking lot and Mac Minister is nowhere to be found. So they wait, and a few minutes later, a Pontiac Firebird pulls up right beside them. Bang!
Damn. Got him
Next
both.
morning, the shocking news goes viral. But this time, everyone knows what it was all about. And it honestly confirms everyone's suspicion of Fat Tone's involvement with the Mac Dre situation. But still, no one knows what happened, and especially not Las Vegas police. They're absolutely clueless except for one fact. While reviewing the security footage, they notice a Pontiac Firebird leaving the area.
Las Vegas police don't solve no hip hop murders. They're like, if you kill a rapper, nigga, you smooth out there. You know what I'm saying? If you kill a nigga in Las Vegas, put a demo in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? Stuff a little SoundCloud link in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? Cause you'll get away. You'll be smooth.
2 days later, Vallejo police get a call about an abandoned Pontiac Firebird that looks suspicious. So they casually come see the car, and it turns out that the car matches the Las Vegas description. So they run the plates for the car and find some very interesting information. The car is registered to a woman named Lee Larson, and at this point the police are confused as ever because she's a woman from a small town called Payson, Utah. Well, after not being able to get a hold of Lee Larson, Vallejo police contact her family. Lee Larson's father informs police that a man named Andre Dow and his friend Jason Mathis were, let's say, receiving compensation.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, even Shiba Inu is up, much more than any other asset class.
From his daughter Lee Larson. So Las Vegas, her family. Lee Larson's father informs police that a man named Andre Dow and his friend Jason Mathis were, let's say, receiving compensation from his daughter Lee Larson. So Las Vegas police officially name Andre Dow and Jason Mathis as the suspects in the case. But there's a major problem. They are nowhere to be found. But after a while, Jason Mathis would be found in his San Francisco apartment. But for the next 5 months, Mac Minister is still nowhere to be found. So Las Vegas police would keep asking Lee Larson questions, but she would not say anything. Seriously, she literally said nothing. Both Las Vegas...
Man, them pimps be having these hoes brainwashed, bro. Brainwashed, bro. This bitch in front of the police. They probably telling her all kind of shit. She ain't breaking for nothing. It's niggas out here who can't do that. You hear me?
Vegas and Vallejo police would come out and say that Lee Larson did not cooperate at all. But her loyalty to Mac Minister and Jason Mathis might have been pointless, and you'll see why. November 4th, 2005. Welcome to Fairfield, California, about 20 minutes east of Vallejo. And here we are in a quiet residential area. Bam! Residents report a loud sound in the area and tell police that it may have come from the park. So Fairfield police casually arrive to search the park, and that's where they find Lee Larson. So now things are way more serious, and the search for Mac Minister is on. And that being said,
y'all done killed that little white girl. You going to jail now. You going to jail now. And she wasn't in no rat, cuz. You niggas in trouble now.
Said, Mac Minister is not found until March 4th, 2006. Mac Minister is casually relaxing in his San Francisco apartment when he gets a knock on the door. And apparently he's completely relaxed as if he doesn't have 5 stars. Well, as a result of this, Mac Minister and Jason Mathis will never be getting out. So that brings up an important point.
Told you, you killed that little white girl. You really fucked up. You know what I'm saying? You kill a rapper. You kill one of these little rapper niggas. You kill that white woman. Your ass going to jail. Straight like that.
Question. Why did they do this? Well, Mac Minister would simply say that he did it for the Bay Area. And here's the craziest thing about it. He didn't even know Mac Dre. He was so upset that Mac Dre's friends didn't step up to the plate that he decided to do it himself. But here's the reality. After Mac Minister did all this, Mac Dre's friends would come out and say that Fat Tone had nothing to do with it. Apparently, after Mac Dre passed away, Fat Tone would call Jay Diggs and tell him that he had nothing to do with it. And Jay Diggs believed him, so everything was good. So after all, Mac Minister and Jason Mathis did this for nothing. So let's jump ahead to the post-Mac Dre era in the Bay Area.
Nigga, what? Nigga, what? No, I done watched a couple of stories like this, bro. But nigga, you telling me he ain't even know, bro? I thought he at least knew him. He ain't even know Mac Dre. You know what I'm saying? He just had to do that shit for the Bay. That's really putting the home on your back. You putting the home team on your back, nigga. Man.
Area. Everyone would rally together to uphold Mac Dre's legacy and continue the hyphy movement. One of the rappers to step up and adopt some of Mac Dre's style and lingo is E40. He would make songs like Tell Me When to Go where he would use a lot of Mac Dre's lingo. And to the majority of people, there was no problem with it. But some of Mac Dre's old friends were not too pleased about this.
I figured they wouldn't, because, you know, them niggas really didn't rock with each other like that. So it's like, nigga, what the fuck are you doing with our nigga music? You know what I'm saying? But that's one of them things. It's like, nigga, okay, it's bigger than me and him. This about some bass shit. This home team love, you know what I'm saying? I'm keeping your shit going. But I know niggas will have a problem with that. Straight up.
Back to the real E40 real fans, huh?
But in the bigger picture, there was no problem with it. But some of Mac Dre's old friends were not too pleased about this.
Right back to the real E40 real fans, huh?
But in the bigger picture, none of that really matters because Tell Me When to Go is a certified anthem. Well, for the past 17 years, Jay Diggs and Kilo Kurt have been managing Fizz Nation and everything has gone pretty smoothly. Well, there was the Messy Marv situation, but other than that, there wasn't much drama surrounding Mac Dre's name. But all of that would change just a few weeks ago when a San Francisco rapper would go live and make some wild accusations.
JT
now,
the
let me
bigger
remind
figure.
you that Kilo Kurt and Jay Diggs were Mac Dre's, let's say, friends and managers at the same time.
It was some tension between Mac Dre and Kilo Kurt. Jay Diggs was more of a bodyguard. Jay Diggs wasn't a rapper on Fizz Nation at first. He wasn't on.
You want to get hired before summer ends? Robotic tech companies are desperate to hire for
On Mac Dre label. They was homeboys. But Mac Dre didn't the same way. He f***ed it with Kilo Kurt. But Diggs was trying to get in where he fit in. Jay Diggs, hell yeah. So we're going to get to that part in a minute. There was a show in Fresno. And Kilo Kurt went to pick the money up for the show. The show in Fresno was for $6,000. But Kilo Kurt only gave Mac Dre $1,500. When Mac Dre found out it was for $6,000 because they was doing a tour, and Kilo Kurt, since they partnered, collect money for shows. Mac Dre, when he found out that it was $6,000 and he only got $1,500, he approached Kilo Kurt about that. He didn't like that Kilo Kurt collected $6,000 and only gave him $1,500. You know, so Kilo Kurt didn't collect none of that money out there in Kansas City. Did Kilo Kurt do it? I didn't say that. Did Jay Diggs do it? No, I didn't say that neither. Was they okay with it? Yes, they was okay with it. So how did a man that got fired from Mac Dre end up running Mac Dre company after he died? They did the back door on Mac Dre, bro. Check out how they treating his daughter. I'm like, he got a out Mac Dre's daughter right now. Google it on YouTube right now. They turned her out. Kilo Kurt and them did not protect her. Meanwhile, Kilo Kurt J. Diggs running up a bag on Mac Dre's name when the deal was in Andre Hicks' name. That's fucking disgusting, bro. And I went and did the research, like, cause I told y'all before, I've been tuned into this shit for the last, I don't know, probably about a couple months, bro. Like, just looking in the videos, you know, once you start watching one video, they start showing algorithms, you know what I'm saying? And, nigga, they said they had her out there, nigga, I did the research, bro. His daughter was really out there, and I don't really know if it's them that got her out there, but it's like, they didn't take her from out there, you know what I'm saying? And them, that's supposed to be your boy, baby, you know what I'm saying? That shit is sick, bro. That shit is sick as hell, man. Right. But then it got switched to Kilo Kurt and J. Diggs' name. How did that happen? Why wasn't Mac Dre catalog putting his mama name and his daughter name?
After hearing the rant, J. Diggs would go on live to defend his own name.
You got to.
I had never been to Kansas City in my life. I did not know one person, not one soul in Kansas City. Never met a man in Kansas City a day in my life. When I got to Kansas City, I tapped in with people I knew of. I tapped in with Fat Tone because Fat Tone was a suspect. And everybody was yelling Fat Tone down. And I wanted Fat Tone to talk to me. I needed some answers. And we talked. I stayed out in Kansas City for a few days. Doing my homework, doing my footwork, doing my street work. And I left Kansas City, came back home. I never been there in my life. I wasn't even out there when it happened. How did my name get called in this? They said I got fired. What did I get fired for? If I'm the bodyguard, what did I get fired for? Anything that get done with Mac Dre name, face, or anything goes through one. Have I ever took anything of Dre's? I never got a check.
It seemed like he pointing the finger like, you got to talk to Kilo Kurt, nigga. Like, y'all, you know, why my name in it? Y'all, did you talk to him? He the one that, hey, shit. I was the bodyguard, like you said. Real shit, though. He trying to clear his name up.
For no Dre music, I never got a check for Thiz Nation music. I never got a check for Thiz Entertainment music.
If any of what JT said is untrue or made up, he should lose all his credibility. But on the other hand, if he's telling the truth, then he's a hero for standing up for Mac Dre's legacy. So what do you guys think about this? Do you...
It's been like damn near 15, 16 years. Like, my nigga, yeah, it's about time, you know what I'm saying? Like, you held that shit in for a long time.
You think J. Diggs and Kilo Kurt are responsible? Let me know in the comments. And on that note, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like.
I don't know who's responsible. That ain't really my business, but, you know, I'm just watching this shit, you feel me? Anyway, that was a cool little video from Swamp Stories. Swamp Stories be, I like this nigga, but he be talking some shit sometimes. I don't know. Like, come on, bro. But he definitely put a good video together. Shout out to this nigga for reaching 100K. He had 103 now. Dope shit. If y'all like this video, let me know y'all like this video. Put it in the comment section. Let me know what I should react to next. Till the next time, bro. Y'all be smooth. Stay out the way. True Crew. We out.